Hey, 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 boot campers. It is day 8 here in Seasons of Hustle Boot Camp. So we have finished part 1 and we are moving on to part 2, spring, which is season of growth. So I am super excited to talk to you guys tonight because the next few days after this is going to be the really good meat and potatoes that I know all of you guys have been waiting for to help you enroll members and get more people on Essential Rewards. So let's hop into this content for tonight, and then we're going to get some things prepared before we come to boot camp tomorrow. So far in boot camp, we've been talking about cultivation. So moving on to a season of growth, we're going to be talking about how all that cultivating is now growing and sprouting and beginning to flower. It's starting to grow because we've cultivated all of those seeds per se. So as a wellness entrepreneur, to be successful, you really only have to do one thing. You have to actually do the work. So many times I hear people say, I want to be a silver, I want to be a diamond, I want to be an executive, I want to be a senior star. And they say they want the things, but they don't actually do the work. So I encourage you to be consistent with your cultivation so you can reap the harvest in the season of growth. I see it way too many times that we get discouraged and we don't plant the seeds during cultivation. But then when it's time for the growth, we're like, why is it happening for everyone else and not me? So that's where the consistency comes in and where we have to continue that cultivation that we've been talking about up until now. So all the skills that you need to be successful in this business are skills you can learn. So you need to put on your I'm going back to school hat, train of thought, and you need to be a learner. We talked about being a lifelong learner in one of the previous videos. So I want to let you know, I don't have a magic formula. None of us have a magic formula. Nobody can hand you your business on a silver platter. We all began this journey with the same opportunity. Every single Royal Crown Diamond in Young Living started with a premium starter kit, 0 members in their organization, and 0 OGB. Okay, they went up the ranks just like the rest of us. So we're all given the same opportunity. It's what we decide to do with that opportunity, how we decide to plant our seeds, cultivate them, how to help grow them, and how much we're willing to learn, how much personal growth, how much mindset, all of those things put together is what makes us successful. So I want anybody that's watching this video to be successful in this business, because if you have put the time in to come into boot camp, even if you're just sneaking a peek to see what it's about, that means you have something in you that tells you this may be the thing for you. And I'm telling you right now in this moment, this is the thing for you. And yes, Kathleen Harvey is on with us live right now, and she is a Young Living Diamond, and every Royal Crown Diamond starts at 0 OGB, starts over every month. So just because we hit rank once doesn't mean we will do it again. I've lost rank, we've all done it, it's happened, okay? So don't get discouraged, it happens to all of us. So in seasons of growth, we're gonna be focusing on actually doing the work. So we've more talked up to this point about mindset, getting into habits, kind of all the background stuff. Now we're gonna actually start digging into actually doing all the things. So remember the 3 things that are the lifeblood of your business. Okay, these are 3 IPAs you're gonna hear over and over and over. Enrolling new members, getting members on Essential Rewards, and then teaching them how to share Young Living and grow with you. So those are the 3 things that we are gonna focus on in this entire section. So there's gonna be a lot of meat and potatoes in this thing over the next few days. So you definitely, if you can't hop on Boot Camp Live, you'll definitely wanna go back and watch these videos that's coming up this week. One thing I do want to remind you of is that 80% of your work time should be focused on those 3 income producing activities. The other 20% of your time is when you're following up with your team, doing your personal development, things like that. A lot of times we get that reversed. So be sure that you are in the right percentage and that you are focusing on those 3 main IPAs 80% of your time. I want to know, How many of you feel like you have to get it perfect to get it done? And you want to make sure you can do all the things and do it right. Okay, do I have anybody else out there that wants to make sure they do it the right way the first time? Okay, does that stop you from actually doing the IPA? So think about it. Is there something that you don't do because you're afraid you won't do it well enough, you don't know enough things? Okay, we're all guilty, and I love you that are actually like hopping in the comments and showing me that you're raising your hands, because that is the first thing, is knowing that you're doing it. Okay, so I want to tell you what my Royal Crown Diamond says. Done is better than perfect. Okay, this is such an important sentence. I'm going to say this again. Done is better than perfect. So I encourage you to take that statement, put it somewhere where you're going to see it, and when you start overanalyzing, you start procrastinating, and you're not doing those IPAs, you look at yourself and you say, done is better than perfect. As Mel Robbins says, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do it. Okay, you just count down from 5 and do it. So one of the excuses that I hear the most is, well, I just don't know enough about the oils yet to share about them. So let me tell you, if you wait till you know everything about the oils, or everything about the compensation plan, or everything about being a great leader, or everything about anything in Young Living, you're never ever going to begin. You're never going to start. None of us will ever know everything there is to know about this company, about the products, about the compensation plan. Things are always changing, policy and procedures. Guess what? It is okay not to be perfect, not to know all the answers. I didn't fully understand the compensation plan. I don't even think I fully know everything there is. I'm sure there's things I'm missing, especially when it comes to generations. But I didn't even really look at the compensation plan until after I was a silver. I had no idea where the money in my paycheck was coming from. But I was sharing. I was doing the important IPAs. So you can figure that stuff out as you go. I want you guys to think about how being sincere with your efforts is the best thing that you can do for your business. So I wanted to share with you just a little verbiage idea of how a little monologue could go back and forth of how not knowing everything can actually be a strength. So you have this friend, Becky, and she has a child who is in desperate need of some lavender. So you reach out to Becky and you're like, hey, Becky, I don't know if you know, but I recently started using these Young Living essential oils. And oh my gosh, girl, like whatever your personality is, that to me, that would be how I would say it. These things have been life-changing. And I know you said the other day that little Rufus needed some of this. So I just wanted to tell you about it. So I'm just curious, like I don't even know how it all works or all of that, but do you want to learn together? Have you ever tried this? So I want you to think about 2 things in that little verbiage that I sent to her in this scenario. Number 1, I connected with a need that I had heard her say at some point in our relationship. Number 2, I ended it with a question. If you just say, here's the thing, and you don't end it with a question, a lot of times you won't get a reply. Okay, so then Becky is like, yes, girl, how did you get it? I'm not really for sure. I know here's this link that you can order it off of, and you send her the referral link because you at least know that you have a referral link because your enroller showed you that. So then Becky gets her oils, and she has had a few nights apiece with Rufus. Okay, so she has a friend who is in some desperate need of peppermint. So what is Becky going to do? Becky's going to say, hey, Sally, I don't know if you know, but I just started using these oils, and this has done some magic stuff for Rufus, and I know your daughter, Gloria, really needs some peppermint because I heard you say the other day, XYZ. I don't know exactly how they work, but curious, have you ever tried them? So Becky did what her person that introduced her to, and not really knowing that she's sharing a business. She followed that imperfection of saying, I don't know it all, Let's learn this together. So your team will do what you do. If you're the perfectionist and you make it seem like you always know all the things, that's not duplicatable to your people. It is okay to say, you know what? I don't know. I've never been asked that before. So one of the greatest resources that you can be for your team is to actually respond to them and help them figure out the answer. So say if somebody email or messages you a question, have you ever responded with the words, you know what, I'm not for sure, but that's a great question for customer service. You know what? I don't know. That's a great question for product support. I would email productsupport@youngliving.com. You know what? That is an awesome question. What did XYZ person say? Which XYZ person would be the silver above that's between you and them. If they say, oh, I didn't ask them, you can say, okay, well, let's start a group message and let's all learn this together. So keep their uplines involved. So pointing people back to the places to originate the information and making sure the upline teams are involved is going to create a really strong communication between your team. And it is one of those things that will allow people to dig into finding the answers for themselves, because people are actually more satisfied when they learn something than to be told something. So think about that when you're always answering just like this every time somebody asks you a question. Be sure you're sharing where you're getting those resources from. So part of being a great leader, you're going to hear this being said over and over too, is you don't want to recreate the wheel. So you're going to notice in Seasons of Hustle, it is a ton of resources that we are pointing to that already exist. That was the one thing when I was doing this book, like I had learned all these things from all of these multitude of things. I wanted one place to have them where it's like, if you need this, here is where it is. If you need this, this is where it is. So that's kind of part of the vision of Seasons of Hustle, is to be a treasure trove of resources for you and to know what to dig into if you need help in personal development, if you need help in mindset, if you need help in certain areas. So we need to think about when we're doing things for our team to not recreate what's already being there. Because our team is going to follow our lead. So I do create additional things for my team. I be sure I tell them. So if you are one who's creative and that is a strength of yours, I tell my team, I have created this resource for you, so you don't have to do this part of it. This is, something I'm providing for you. It's a resource that I felt led to do for you. I want you to be able to use this to help build your business, so you have time to focus on your IPAs to get you to silver, gold, platinum, wherever their goal is. Because that is a strength of mine. We will hear leaders say all the time, work within your strengths. So one of my strengths is brainstorming, creating new ideas of sharing Young Living. I'm pretty good at verbiage as well. So I do create things for my team that don't exist or needs updated, things like that. But I be sure I split my time where I am still doing that 80% of those 3 income producing activities and the other 20% working on other things. Now, this month has been a sole focus on Seasons of Hustle. So I am actually working 20% in my Young Living business and 80% Seasons of Hustle this month. But that's because I love you guys. I want you guys to succeed. And I'm really pouring my heart and my soul and my time into this because I want you guys to get this information. And I hope that it really blesses you this year in 2019 and is an amazing year. So I feel like sometimes when we are thinking about running our business, we think that it has to take so many hours in the day. That running a full-time business, so getting full-time pay from your business, means working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. Okay, who thinks that that's what that means to be all in? Okay, that's totally not what it means. You don't have to do all the things all the time, all day. If you're working on those 3 income producing activities, you can do it in 5-minute grabs. You can do 1 power hour a day. So if you're like, I can work 2 hours a day on my business and that's it, And guess what? You can rock so much in that 2 hours. You could do an hour in the morning, an hour at night, do 2 power hours. As long as you are focused and know what you're going to be consistently doing in that time, you are going to be ranking up and your team is going to be growing. So I hear a lot, because I do stay at home. I have a lot of moms say, well, I don't get to stay home like you do. Well, I also homeschool. I also help Mia do 30 plus hours of therapy a week. And that schedule's changing. And so she's doing multiple kinds of therapy. I have the book. So that's another business. Like, I'm doing multiple things. So I don't spend 8 hours a day on my Young Living business. So I think a lot of times people think I'm just at home and I'm in my kitchen and I'm cooking 3 full meals a day and my house is super clean and I have all the things done. That is not what real life looks like here. So I just don't want you guys to get the impression that you have to work 8, 10, 12-hour days with Young Living to make your business successful, because that is so not what this is about. If you are just consistent, your team is going to grow. So make a plan, stick to it. In Seasons of Growth, over the next few days, we're going to be focusing on those IPAs. Tomorrow is when we're going to start diving into the details that I know you guys are really wanting to know, because I know everybody's going to want to get Help 5 this month, right? And so tomorrow we're going to start digging into tips on enrolling new members. So your homework for tonight is, before you watch Seasons of Hustle tomorrow night, make sure your list of people is ready. I want your future Young Living members up to date. It is not going to say the word prospects at the top. It's going to say future Young Living members. You're going to pray over it. You're going to speak life into it before you watch that video, and update it with those people that you have thought of recently or met recently, or people that have come to classes. So get that puppy up to date. I have been a high enroller, so I have a ton of tips on enrolling new members. And so I'm super excited to hop into that topic tomorrow. And it may even take us 2 nights of boot camp, because I have so much to say on the topic about enrolling members. So we're going to be giving tips on hosting in-person classes, hosting online classes, verbiage ideas, class ideas, all kinds of things. I am so excited about it. So I cannot wait to see you for day 9. Where we are going to start enrolling your members, and you guys are going to be hitting Help 5 by the end of this week. See you later.